Well, I've got a pretty cool one today. This is the transmission that I have for the Corvette. I need to get a torque converter for it. The one that was with it did not fare so well. What had happened was I guess the torque converter slid off the front when it was sitting over there in the yard and got filled with water. But the transmission's fine other than that, so far as I know. I'm going to pull off the drain pan today and I'm going to see what it looks like. Also, I have these. These are some funky headers. These are for that Corvette. They're a set of Headmans. They're pretty nice. Look at that though. I might paint them. I might polish them. I'm not really sure. And I'm going to set them down out of the way for the time being. And they're a match set. Now I've got to grab some tools so I can flip this transmission over. I need to do something with this. I'm going to flip the transmission over on its back and I'm going to see what the tranny pan looks like. These are the transmission lines. They're a little bent, but it don't matter. I can make new lines. Here is the TV cable. This is a 700R4. It is a 4-speed automatic Chevrolet. This TV cable is a throttle variance. It's to increase or lower the pressure running through the valve body. This is a non-computerized transmission. You need just a little module for it. You can pick them up pretty cheap. Alrighty. Let me make sure this is on camera here. Whoops. Alrighty. This is my cargo trailer here. It's a cool trailer. It's perfect for what I use it for. I use it for part storage for all my different vehicles. And by the way, these bolts down here for the tranny pan will be a metric. Chevrolet's weird. They engine stuff, some of it was standard, some of it was metric, depending on the year. Alright. I have my electric ratchet over here, but I don't. It's full of bolts and transmissions around here. For this transmission itself, I'm probably going to just paint it black. It's not going to be something that's super visible inside of the car, so I'm not that worried about it. And I'm not angry at the moment, it would seem. Now, when you tighten these, it is best to do it in a star pattern. However, not the most necessary thing for taking it off. This is just a sheet metal pan. It ain't nothing fancy. If you have anything cast, then yeah, I would. But this isn't. This is forged. They just stamp these. Also, if you're going to use a pan seal on this instead of something like Ultra Gray, I would highly suggest going with a neoprene or a rubber, and that goes for head gasket seals on an engine, that goes for oil pan seals, and the reason is because cork it's old school. Yeah, it's cheaper, but cork will only absorb so much oil before it'll start leaking. I've seen people put those on and 45 miles down the road, it's already dripping again. These aren't very tight. Now, when this is under a vehicle, be careful doing this. What you should do is one at this corner, one at this corner, this one and this one. Leave those in, but break them just enough to be loose. Have yourself a spreader pan and a drain pan underneath, because this holds around 11 quarts, and this is a factory pan. You can get deeper pans depending on if it's been changed or not. Like the Suburban we have, one of them has a deeper pan. It gives it about another quart or two. Some are more, some are less. But be mindful of that and take it off slowly. Slowly bring out the corner bolts until it starts to drain and finishes, and it's going to be a gush. I remember when I was 15, 16, I had myself a 98 Envoy, and I needed to do some work inside on the valve body, so I took it off, not realizing how much oil was in this pan, and that was a 4L60, but it's very, very similar. They're both based off of the Turbo 350. It's a turbo hydromatic from the late 60s, 70s, 80s even. Good transmissions, but with a 700 R4, a 4L60, and a turbo hydromatic 350, I would never want to run more than 400 horse. And even then, it's beginning to push it. I mean, they're just a light duty transmission. I'm only going to run between 300 and 375 into that. But this will give me longer gears, because this is an overdrive transmission. It has a brake switch that is just a signal wire going to your brake switch to a relay. One of them is a kick down. Another one is the torque converter lockup, and I can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head. It might have been for cruise. Either way, they're simple transmissions, and you can run it with just toggle switches, but I want the full automatic experience. Just put it in gear and go. I'm going to raise the line pressures on this, and there is an adjustment for that. I can't remember where on these. I got a dipstick for it too, but it's empty, and I just pulled the dipstick out of the way so I didn't bash myself in the eyeball with it. That would suck. I ended up getting a rear main for this, but I don't believe it's the right seal. It's a Felpro though. They're nice. No, I take that back. It was a national seal. They didn't have the Felpro. It was like $37. It's not terrible. It's the main driveline seal at the back of the output shaft. This transmission in particular came out of a 91 two-wheel drive 1500 Chevy with a 350 small block. Don't really know much about it. They had rebuilt the engine to 355 cubic inches. The body was beat up pretty bad, and I guess the guy just gave up on it, couldn't get it running. Come to find out, the distributor was rusted solid in that engine. But the stamps are there, the date is there, it was rebuilt. I just don't know if they also rebuilt this or not, because, you know, it's still dirty, but that doesn't really mean a lot. Some of these smaller repair shops don't even paint them or really clean them up, they just rebuild them. side going out. What we'll be looking for in here is checking the seal surfaces between the pan and the transmission, and we're going to examine the bottom of the pan for clutch debris or metal fragments. Both of those would indicate worn clutches and or worn internals, and we don't want that. That would mean if we put this in, we'd have to rebuild it in 6 months. I don't know. Call me a skeptic, but that don't sound pleasant. And there's like 30 bolts for this thing. I don't know exactly how many. It's a lot though. And don't lose these washers. They're on here for a reason. They help seal stuff up. Usually they won't come off, but if they do, make sure you keep them. And if it's sandy, sometimes it's better to clean it up before you take it apart. This one's pretty sandy and greasy. Wipe your hands before you touch anything on the inside of this oil pan, because sand is a grinding material, and it will grind stuff up, lock stuff up. Right. We'll get me a rag, wipe off my hands. Carburetor cleaner is a good thing to clean this with. Degreaser, brake cleaner. Another good thing is Purple Power. Got my hands on it again. Zero sand. I'm gonna wipe it out though. Or zero clutch debris or metal shaving. None of those you need to see in here. I haven't cleaned that. Yeah, I guess I'll do it in the future. It ain't going nowhere. Now, if you look, you got tabs here on the front corners, and you got tabs in the back for the back. Some of these are specific, so make sure you put it in. But if you look in there, all of those internals are mechanical. I'm happy about that though. Sealing surface is all right. I put that on wrong. I put it on backwards. Yep, see that? You put it on backwards, it won't go on at all. Let's see how many bolts I got here. And do not cross thread these, because if you smoker one up, it will leak there and it will pour. Because this pan is not deep enough for 11 quarts. It's mostly inside that body. So get them started by finger tight. And another thing I'd warn against, do not use an impact on these, because this transmission body is only aluminum. And if you cross thread them, you don't want to do a helical at the bottom. nothing pleasant about that. And you don't want to crack anything. Put it in a different hole. This is why you want to put it on in a star pattern. I'm going to start this corner, get this thing lined up. There we go. 2. Come here, ratchet. This transmission is dirty. I need to clean it before it goes in the car, before I paint it. This thing's so slick and sandy, I don't even know if the bolts all over the car. Oh, there it is. Not yet. I want to get one in on this corner somewhere. Aha. Now you can probably tell these things are kind of goofy. Got to make sure they're just right because they will cross thread in a heartbeat. Uh-oh. Oh, thank the Lord. Come on out there. There you go. That was inches away from the edge of the deck here. It's also good to make sure these threads are clean. I'm not doing it at the moment though because I'm not tightening them really. I'm just putting them in there. Sometimes they don't want to thread in at certain holes, but once you get more of them in and it helps line it up better, they'll go in. Another thing that'll help is a lady foot bar or a screwdriver. There's that one. I'm happy about this. This could have been so much worse. There it goes. cooking today in Florida. You know, honestly, I'll say one thing that's a little different for me is for filming when I'm working on stuff is I'm not listening to music or God's word or anything, and it's a little different. And I probably look like I'm crazy talking to nobody. Who knows? Maybe I can get one of them shows on Motor Trend. That'd be neat. I would enjoy that a lot. Come on. I don't know. Nobody ever serves God and does these shows, it seems, or he really talks about it. But if it weren't for God, I wouldn't be here today. The whole reason I'm blind is because of a, intracranial GSW. And I laid there and I prayed, and it was several hours, and then a year in the hospital, brain surgeries multiple times. And it was a hard thing. It was hard getting used to being blind. But for a little while, I lived like I was a dead man. I mean, I didn't think there was anything for someone who was blind. I mean, this is all I've ever really done is work on things and build stuff. And when you ain't got your eyesight anymore, and you really start wondering what's left. But then Jesus taught me something. He'll never put us through something we can't handle. He really won't. I mean, Jesus has done so much for us that we can't even understand. And I imagine that's part of that whole never-ending and increasing joy in heaven is learning all of the amazing things he's done. It says in the Bible that if all the miracles of Jesus were written down, the books from it would fill up the whole of the earth. And I do believe that. One more, I think. I'm just going to run these down to snug. Not even super snug. The reason is because I've got to put a new pan seal in it. I'm probably going to do Ultra Gray. It's a wonderful gasket maker. It's my favorite RTV. It's better than those real cheap tubes. A little more expensive, but you get what you pay for on that one. This stuff is like indestructible. You could probably just about make head gaskets with it. And it's really nice to use with head gaskets to hold them into place. Same with valve cover gaskets. Now what I'm going to do here for this star pattern is run that just down to the surface there, not tight. Come to this other side. And I'm going to continue to do that all the way around. Alright, there's snug. Now, it's better to do this corner. So you see what I'm doing here is making sure this is lined up when you put it on and it doesn't squish the RTV and or seal out of the way and make it leak. Because if it's not on straight, it's going to leak sadly. And you don't want to crack anything. This is so much easier. You just spin them in. Once you get the general thing in, it's not so much trouble. It's mostly the corners. And because I'm not running these tight, it'll be fun. I don't know what the actual torque numbers are on these, but I'd imagine it's around 35 to 40. I don't know, it could be down to 25. I just run them down until I feel like they're tight and not going to cause a leak. My arm's getting tired. I still usually do it a little spread out. It doesn't have to be a perfect star pattern, but it really helps. It's mostly them corners you want